Mexico City is the largest city in North America, and it is also my favorite city in all of Latin America. It can be challenging to tackle visiting this world-class massive city, so here is my travel guide for traveling La Ciudad de Mexico. The first neighborhood I recommend you stay in is going to be La Condesa, specifically the area near Parque Mexico. This is because this area is incredibly beautiful and walkable. It's very green and lush, and there's parks, and even like the sidewalks are very green and kind of a little bit insulated from traffic. It's a little bit more quiet, less busy, but still full of wonderful energy, and it's not too difficult to get around to other touristy areas and sites and attractions in Mexico City. To be honest, this is my favorite place that you should stay in Mexico City. This is one of my favorite parts about staying in this area, between La Condesa and Roma Norte. There's this big like avenue only for walking. Some people running and exercising, but it's so green and sheltered, and you can still take in the beauty of the shops without having to worry about stepping in that area. Really cool. But yeah, as I was saying, it really makes you feel like you're walking in a park, even though you're still in the city, in the neighborhood. Another area is Polanco. This is a bit northwest of La Condesa, and it's more upscale, it's more metropolitan, it's gonna be more international brands and a little bit more fancy and luxurious. So if that interests you, it's a great area, and it's also located next to and near a really nice park I'll talk about later. Next is Centro, or kind of like the main like downtown center. This is going to be more historic. It's more full of the main cultural attractions or governmental attractions, I guess you can say. Like think about beautiful buildings, think about some of the main like squares and plazas. Centro is going to be great. It is centrally located, so it's not too hard to visit other parts of Mexico City as well. The next neighborhood I recommend is Coyoacan. This is really beautiful. It's definitely one of my favorites, and the vibe is a little bit more like traditionally Mexican, and by that it has a stronger similarity to some other neighborhoods in other cities in Latin America I've checked out. More of that like Latin American, Mexican, Hispanic, like colonial architecture. So beautiful. It's a little bit south, so a little bit further maybe from areas like Centro, but you can easily still get around to different neighborhoods, and it has a really beautiful aesthetic, and there's lots to see and do there as well. And of course, the most famous Roma neighborhoods. There's Roma Norte and Roma Sur. Roma Norte is more of like that kind of like expat area. It's a little bit more gentrified. It's still beautiful, amazing architecture, lots of businesses, lots of things to do. And Roma Sur is a little bit less so. But they're great neighborhoods, great location, similar area and vibes to maybe La Condesa, but a little less quiet. And ultimately, they're really great places for you to stay when traveling in Mexico City. The number one thing you have to do in Mexico City, in my opinion, is Chapultepec Park. And this is one of the largest parks in all of North America. It's even bigger than Central Park in New York City. And it's gorgeous, it's beautiful. There's so much for you to walk around and see and do and explore. There's lots of like little botanical areas, and it's really fun to rent bikes and ride around the park so you can see more and just kind of cruise around and take in the beauty of this park in Mexico City. And of course, the main highlight, the gem of Chapultepec Park is Chapultepec Castle, which you can walk to up this hill and then get amazing views of the city, learn some really interesting things about the history of Mexico and Mexico City, and great views of the city. And it's a beautiful place architecturally as well, with some areas to check out right around the area. So this is my favorite thing in Mexico City. Next is the Mercado Coyoacan. As the name implies, it is located in the Coyoacan neighborhood, and it is crazy, it's beautiful, there's so much to see and do. It's like a maze. There are many markets in Mexico City, but this one, at least to me, it stood out. There's food courts where you can just eat like some, typical Mexican food with some locals. You can buy anything here, cool like trinkets, some foods to bring back home, some random little gifts, Halloween costumes, clothes, everything and anything. And it's just a fun adventure to walk around this market, get a little bit lost, see where you're going, see what you can find, and it is like one of my favorite markets. Next is the Palacio de Bellas Artes. This is located in the Centro Histórico, right in that downtown Mexico City neighborhood. And the architecture here is just stunning. It's incredible to see. It's very easy to see if you're walking around like the main area. You see lots of other really notable like attractions or architectural sites in downtown Mexico City. So check it out. You can go inside and see performances too if there's something scheduled, and there might be people like dressing up and doing stuff outside of the Palace of the Fine Arts. So check it out. It's beautiful, and you must see it. Next is museums. Mexico City has amazing museums, and the one I personally recommend that I visited is the National Museum of Popular Culture. It was really interesting, and it Actually, it was really affordable as well to visit. And you can learn about lots of different aspects of Mexican popular culture, such as like the underground culture from like maybe the 1980s and onwards, or like lots of the indigenous peoples, how Mexico's relationship with like the indigenous people and like the influence from Spain, or the different like comics or books or TV series, a different side of Mexican culture than just like the pure history side of it. So I thought it was really interesting and really cool, and it had fun exhibits, and it was a beautiful area to walk around and check out. The most popular, of course, is the Frida Kahlo Museum, which is also in the Coyoacan neighborhood. I didn't visit. It was hard to get tickets. It's a little bit more pricey, which is totally fine. I know that's a really popular one as well, so check that one out if you're a big fan of Frida Kahlo. There's also the Diego Rivera Museum, who's a famous like artist for murals in Mexico City, and there's many more. But visit a museum in Mexico City, you won't be disappointed. Next is Zocalo. This is also in the Centro Histórico. This is the main plaza of Mexico City. There's some government buildings. There's a really beautiful cathedral as well. You might see some protests if things are, a little bit, not dicey, but there's some political unrest. So it's like the cultural center, and you can see actually outside the cathedral as well, people doing like spirit cleansing ceremonies back from like the Aztecs. Super cool and unique and a beautiful area that you can check out easily while exploring the Centro Histórico. Next is Xochimilco, I believe it's pronounced. This is an area that's actually a little bit further south in Mexico City, even further south in the Coyoacan neighborhood. And this is famous for the trajineras, which are these beautiful colored boats, which you can take around this like ecological area, which is actually famous for having axolotl in there. I hope it's not like too bad for the animals. I don't want to recommend something that's not good for like the ecology and this beautiful animal. But what's really cool is there will be like mariachi bands playing music on the trajineras. Mexican people actually use it for like celebrating like birthdays or like festivals or something. So it's not just a gimmicky tourist activity. People in Mexico love it as well. And it's a really cool, unique thing to do in a really unique area that is in Mexico City. And next is going to be, of course, parks. There are many parks, of course. I've mentioned the Chapultepec Park. I love Parque Mexico in La Condesa. It's very green and lush, and there's like people doing actual like activities and stuff there too, like maybe playing some sports or rollerblading or dancing. And it just feels kind of like a jungle kind of aesthetic and vibe, which I love that. And they blend it like seamlessly in this neighborhood of Mexico City. And of course, Alameda Central, which is in Centro Histórico. It's a nice long park. It's more of an urban park where there's gonna be lots of people walking around and doing stuff. And you can see the skyscrapers like all around you in this downtown area of Mexico City. So visit the parks, you won't be disappointed. And of course, one of the things you must do is eat some delicious food, but that deserves its entire own section. Mexico food is probably my favorite cuisine in the entire world, and Mexico City is one of the best places to eat it. So you need to eat some delicious baked goods at Pan Gabriel. This is like a chain sort of bakery, and it has delicious baked goods, including traditional Mexican baked goods and some other sort of like internationally influenced stuff as well. And it's very vegan friendly, which is awesome.
That's really good.
Next is Café Vegetal, which is my favorite like brunch and breakfast place. Here they specialize in paquete, which are like set meals, and you can combine some delicious entrees or sort of like breakfast items with some baked goods, coffee, juice, and for a really good price and delicious food. Gracias Madre Taqueria Vegana is my next place, and this is probably my favorite restaurant for just all sorts of food in Mexico City, because they have a massive wide menu offering like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, including some popular dishes I'm sure you've heard of, and some ones that you might not have heard of, but the quality is exceptional, especially the enchiladas. And I think it's huaraches, so freaking delicious. I love this place. I could easily eat here 3 meals a day, no joke. For a hole-in-the-wall place, I recommend Supercito y Tacos Veganos. This is also in the sort of like Roma Norte kind of neighborhood, and they specialize in things like tacos, things like tortas, but they also have a sandwich called pambazo, which is like a local like Mexican City sort of dish, which is absolutely delicious. Really good prices and really nice people, and it is the definition of a hole in the wall. So good. For my favorite tacos in the city, probably, is going to be Por Siempre Vegan Taqueria, and there are a couple locations, I believe, and it's all vegan, and they specialize in tacos. They have a wide variety, including your favorites like al pastor, including chorizo, and they have some other ones you might not have heard of, and some interesting combinations as well really freaking good. For dessert, I recommend El Moro. This is a churreria, or like a churro shop. They have churros here, and you can pair them with some like chocolate milk, and they have some other food items as well. And of course, they have a vegan churro as well. So delicious, and maybe it's not like the most hole-in-the-wall place, but it's a great place to get delicious churros. In Mexico City, there are way more amazing restaurants and hidden gems, not just restaurants, but places to visit and check out and discover in Mexico City. Too many to put in this video, but I actually compiled them all into a list of 40 places and counting over on Mapper.com, who I'm actually collaborating with in this video. Mapper.com is a platform where local experts and creators like myself can make our own maps of our ultimate recommendations and favorite things to do or hidden gems in cities and countries all over the world. For my Mexico City map, I have 40 locations and counting. You can access a large portion of those for free, or you can pay €5 to access even more, or you can decide, if you would like to support me and the work I do on YouTube or the work I do on Mapper to compile my ultimate lists of recommendations. So why not check it out? Click on the link in the description down below to see my full Mexico City guide location map on Mapper.com. It really is a great resource for me as a creator to provide a full list of locations. And if you as a viewer, someone planning a trip, wants to see more than just what I'm telling you in this video, it's perfect for you as well. But now let's move on to day trips. One of the easiest and most iconic day trips from Mexico City is visiting the ruins of Teotihuacan. Teotihuacan is like an ancient Mesoamerican city that is famous for its massive pyramids that are in excellent condition. You can walk around the area. You can't climb the pyramids anymore, sadly. There are some museums you can visit to learn about this ancient civilization that is very close to current Mexico City. It's very easy to get to. You can take a bus. It doesn't cost that much money, and it's cool to add to this history in addition to visiting the beautiful city that's Mexico City. Next is Grutas Tolantango. It is a beautiful place that is a fair distance from Mexico City. We're talking maybe like 4 or 5 hours, but it has these beautiful thermal baths that are kind of look like little terraces cascading down into this massive valley, and you can visit and explore some really cool caves with hot thermal water as well. Get some amazing views. It definitely feels like an adventure with beautiful natural scenery and a really unique thing to do. You may consider not doing it as a day trip. I made a full video guide covering this experience and my ultimate thoughts as a day trip, so check that out if you want to see more. I also made a video on Teotihuacan, so check that out if you want to see more about that as well. And to book these day trips yourself, I'll put links for Get Your Guide down below. It's a great resource I use whenever booking like trips and experiences and tours when I'm traveling, so make sure to check those out. Another area near Mexico City you should check out is Puebla. Now, Puebla is about 2 hours from Mexico City. You can easily take a bus here, and there's so much to see and do, including getting views of the volcano Popo, and also Cholula, which is a magical town, or Pueblo Mágico is the name of it in Mexico. That's right near Puebla City, and also the town of Atlixco. It's so beautiful, and in reality, you should spend a few days here. And finally, this technically isn't a day trip because it kind of is in Mexico City, is to do the Iztapalapa cable cars. Now, this is an area that's kind of having the reputation of being a little bit dangerous, a little bit off the tourist path, but I think if you go during the daytime, you don't really have too much to worry about. I didn't have the opportunity to do it myself, but these are cable cars that go up from different neighborhoods in Mexico City. It's like the longest suspension cable cars in the world, I think. And there's beautiful colored buildings and murals that you can see from the cable cars. You get amazing views of the city. It looks like a very unique thing to do outside of just the tourist sites, so make sure to check that out. But again, just speaking from my own ignorance, I would recommend trying to do it maybe as a tour, maybe as a guide on Get Your Guide, or do it during the day, because it's also like a public transportation system, so maybe having a guide could be more helpful for you to figure that out. To get around Mexico City, I recommend doing a few different things. The most common and probably the easiest is to use Uber. Everyone's heard of Uber. It's a famous ride-sharing app. You can use it in Mexico City. The prices are pretty affordable, but it can be a little crazy with traffic sometimes, so keep that in mind. And it's a good way to get around, maybe from like the Roma or La Condesa areas, maybe to like Coyoacan or some areas that aren't very conveniently connected by public transport. But public transport is something you should definitely use in Mexico City. I recommend using buses and take the metro. I think the metro is okay. Again, if you're worried about it, maybe stay away from it, but we use it. We didn't have any bad experiences. It's very affordable. The buses are very affordable and convenient as well. And you can actually get a metro card, which you can buy and like load up very easily and very conveniently to tap into the buses and the metro and that sort of thing. Next is things are spread out in Mexico City. It is a big city, again, with 20 million people, the biggest city in North America, and the neighborhoods can be pretty far away from each other. Don't be surprised at all if it takes 40 minutes to get from one neighborhood to the next. This is going to be very common in Mexico City if you want to visit all these wonderful areas we talked about. Which brings me to the next point. CDMX is a city of neighborhoods. So to really kind of best experience the city, break up your days in different neighborhoods and just walk around and explore. Do some of the top things to do, or some of the attractions I mentioned earlier, like a museum, like a famous site, like a park. But don't be afraid to go a little bit off the beaten path and just trying to soak up and experience the vibe and the feeling that each different neighborhood can offer. I talked about this a little bit earlier, but be sure to rent bikes. It's super fun to get around, especially areas like La Condesa with the beautiful greenery, and it's a little bit more quiet and you're just surrounded by nature in the city. You can use an app called EcoBikey to rent bikes. It's pretty easy. Sometimes it can have the odd hiccup, but it's not like a nightmare to use it. It's very convenient, and it's just so fun to get around cities on a bike as long as it's not crazy and super hectic. This one's very important, which is going to be really try and assimilate and speak Spanish. I'm sure you're not unaware, but Mexico City has had a bit of a gentrification problem, being a good place for like digital nomads and expats to go and work in a massive world-class city in a similar time zone to that of North America for a cheaper price, and this is pushing out locals. And even more than just that, some of the restaurants are kind of like changing their culture. They're changing the foods that they offer, they're changing the taste preferences, they're changing the menus to be very English friendly. I think a lot of locals aren't too happy about that. So do your best to try and not like make them cater to you whether you're going to work there or just going there as like a tourist. Try and learn some Spanish, some basic phrases, like how to order in Spanish, so that way they don't have to completely like cater to you as an English speaker trying to change like the way of life, I guess, of these neighborhoods. Next is food poisoning. Now, this isn't like a massive concern, but it can happen to you. Don't be like terrified to eat food. It did happen to my wife, and we had to get her some like medicine at the pharmacy just to calm her stomach down a little bit. So just try and be a little bit aware. If you're really worried about it, look this place up on Google. If like food poisoning is a common thing, you might see a lot of people talk about it, but most places, I'm sure the food will be cleaned perfectly fine. But eating food on the streets, maybe some things you want to be a little bit more concerned about, like meats and that sort of thing. And of course, don't drink tap water. This is just a good rule for lots of places in Latin America. In Mexico City, drink bottled water, or like order water at a restaurant. If they give you like tap water, you can like try and ask about that to make sure it's not coming right from the tap, because maybe their stomach could handle it, but you might not be used to it. You don't want to get like a stomach bug or like the flu or something, so be aware of drinking tap water. And finally, be aware of your surroundings. Not necessarily in areas like La Condesa or Roma Norte or Coyoacan. These feel very safe, but if you're walking around anywhere at night, any big city, just be a little bit aware of what's around you. If you venture further away from like the main touristy areas, be aware of that as well. Just be a little bit switched on, of what's around you, what's happening around you, or walking down like dark alleys by yourself for a long time. Don't do it. And just a general rule of thumb, what I found online in my own experience, some areas you might want to stay away from are going to be like east of Zocalo or north of Plaza Garibaldi. This is more like kind of around the Centro Histórico, so just keep that in mind. So that's all for my travel guide on Mexico City. Thanks so much for watching to the end of the video. It really is an amazing place that I think I could go back and visit multiple times, because although there are amazing things to see and do, it just has an amazing vibe and great scenes. It's very walkable, and it really is an amazing city that will kind of capture your heart if it's anything like my experience. So that's all, everybody. See you in the next video. Peace.